Hey, we are tWoTcast episode 334. 334, that is, I guess, you know. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. All right, everyone shut the f*** up.
Wheel of Time. Reread podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. John is the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man, he's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast!
That song, that part of the song, Tom should have said, Tom unmutes during the song so we can hear his crickets.
But every time I don't unmute during the song, we come back from the song and I'm muted.
Don't lie to me.
I don't worry about that. I do love the nice irony. Choices. Tom actually being here has crickets instead of the opposite.
Yeah, that's true. That does make it slightly
better. Well, you can record my crickets for times when I'm not here and just play them.
Tom, what did you think? It's
the new Foley cricket sounds.
Cricket, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
So you're viewing tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time reread podcast. Reread? I don't know what we call it anymore.
It doesn't really matter.
Now covering whatever we want. But today it's the Wheel of Time companion.
This is just a read podcast because we've never read it until now.
True. That's true. Do we relabel our entire
Some of us haven't
podcast?
read it anyway.
Yeah, you piece of shit, Joe.
That's true.
We just change it every time based on what we do. This is a watch podcast.
No, well, then this is a I read some of it podcast.
Yeah.
With me, as always, is Jono.
Jono!
Hey, and I'm Joe. Hey, Jono.
Hey.
And Tom is frequently here, too. Hey, Tom.
Mostly.
Study
your math and figure out how often I've been here. 78.7% of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about the Wheel of Time companion tonight, and this episode is brought to you by the letter I. Jono, what do you think about that? I vowel.
I love you.
Yes, good.
That's a classic Ilone reference to Iwo.
Anyway, our special guest tonight is me and Tom's co-host from Talkaranrhiod, Jen Isgro. Hi, Jen.
Hi, guys.
I mean, this should be like you should feel pretty comfortable here. I mean, you got like a wildly handsome, graying, bearded man named Joe, a grumpy weirdo named Tom, and then just ignore everything Jono says, and you should be good.
Perfect. Exactly what I'm used to. You're right.
Literally just say whatever you want and just use the same names you always use, and it's just going to work.
Sounds good.
Yeah, just pretend you're on your own podcast.
Also good advice, just don't say Jono's name and ignore it. I mean,
also true. Yeah.
This is the way to go.
Ready for Joe, Jono, and Jeno. We've done that joke too many times.
It just occurred to me that we should have had Jen on for the intro and introduced Jono as the ghost.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that's where this was going. Like when we were talking before the show started.
It's a low-hanging fruit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we don't do the obvious jokes.
We don't do the funny ones.
Yeah, we don't do the obvious ones. We don't do the funny ones.
Yeah, we don't do the funny ones or the obvious ones.
We don't do hacky bullshit. Which is what that would have been, probably. I think it would have been funny. But...
oh, goodness.
Well, real quickly, I think we tweeted out that I was rearranging my liquor cabinet. One of the reasons is because I now have what I believe is going to be my official drink of tWoTcast, something called Calvados, which I learned from Alan a year ago and forgot about it, maybe a year ago. It is pretty much the champagne of brandies, not because it's the best, but it's specifically to the region. Calvados was apparently Robert Jordan's favorite drink.
Oh.
Is this an ad?
No. Calvados is fucking it literally is like champagne. Like it's like a specific drink. And it's supposed to be
like
very
the champagne of beers.
Yeah, it's It's Miller High Life. However, though, my first dalliance into it, I bought a 3-year thing, which could have used another couple years in a barrel, because it tastes like nice brandy mixed with a little bit of lighter fluid and olives.
Yum.
To the Robert Jordan's favorite drink. Not this one, but one like it.
You keep drinking that drink, get yourself a hat
see.
at some point, maybe some sort of cane, and slowly become it.
Only thing I need to do, I could probably make up some war stories as opposed to having them. I've already made up several degrees of my own, so I can pretend like I've got what he had. And odds are, yeah.
So, Jen, for those that don't know and aren't interested in Jono's weird drink advertisement, I'm sure everybody knows, but you want to tell us where you're from and what your show is and what it's all about.
What Tom's trying to say is, let's start the
our
actual
show.
Wow.
Now that we've got the official opening, yes, the show is.
Do you see how epic our starting is?
Jesus.
Talkaranrhiod, the Wheel of Time showcast. Me and my 2 co-hosts, Joe and Tom, as you can see. We talk mostly about show news, but we also do some deep dives into characters, locations, and stuff like that. We're primarily a TV show focused podcast. We just started.
I know what we do.
Yeah, I know you guys know. I'm just telling everybody else.
What TV show?
Amazon Prime's The Wheel of Time.
Have
you heard of that?
I have. I mean, it would have been funny if it was like we actually follow Lost.
Yes.
I would do that.
I mean, let's change our show right now to cover Lost.
Adding a character called Aram and then changing your name to Talkaranrhiod and just having him always a side character.
The worst character. Just a whole podcast about him.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
That's not the one we wanted to see, Joe.
Sorry.
What the hell?
Did you hear that what the hell from Jen where she already regretted being on the show? We're like 5 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, we got to the intro.
At least we haven't said Jono says horrible things yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. I think we'll get there pretty fast.
Yeah, we'll probably get there. We'll get there. Anyway. All right. Well, welcome to the letter I. I guess we should talk about the companion. But
what about
we do? I guess spoilers for the TV show and the books.
Spoilers for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Time companion has
a fair
things in
amount
it
of spoilers
from after the last book and stuff that's not even in the book series. So if you're not finished reading, why are you watching our show, first of all? But also, you should definitely not watch this episode.
Well, Tom,
I keep waiting. Are we going to get the introduction to the companion?
Oh yeah, we have so many intro songs tonight.
No.
Walking in the sky, but if it's injured, it won't fly. Take a look, it's in the book. The Wheel of Time companion. Anywhere, but he has to know the embarkation to go and open a portal. About anything. Martin Bailey's cards on page 95. The Wheel of Time companion. Because we'll read them.
Oh my god.
That's perfect.
All right.
That was amazing. Oh my god.
Isn't it really?
I just love seeing Jen back because I can see everybody. I just love Jen's like.
That was so good.
it will never not fucking.
Oh my god.
That
was amazing.
Every time it comes on, I zone all the way out, and I'm just like,
Oh my god.
What are we doing?
That was awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about the Wheel of Time companion.
Okay.
Jono, Tom, you want to start us off with something?
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of entries. I would like to start on the first page of I on page 332.
Okay.
The second entry, it's I and L.
Yeah.
Really not very interesting, honestly, to me, throughout the entire thing, until the very last sentence that says she did whatever, and then it says although her name was recorded there as Linnell. And all I could think when I read it was like, did somebody read the capital I as lowercase L in a later book and change her name by accident?
Yes.
And that's what
That sounds like Maria and Harriet and Alan covering something up. That they made a mistake.
that character definitely.
Her name's Ionel?
Yeah.
Just put it in the companion.
She accidentally had two different names in the books, and they were just like, well, I guess we'll clear this up in the 900-page glossary.
Also, recorded by who? Loyal?
Oh, that's a good question. I think by the author.
Audience, it would have been recorded by one of the Shanshan, whoever was kind of there as the person in question while Beslan was swearing to her.
You think they wrote that down in the Shanshan book of swearing?
Yeah. Right next to Toe Rock and Penis.
It would have been great if it didn't have any other description other than like INL, sometimes confused with Linnell.
Yeah.
And then just the same under L.
Somebody absolutely took the uppercase I for a lowercase L and wrote that.
Oh yeah, that's what that is. It's clearly an acknowledgement of a whoopsie, but done classily, in that they acknowledge the error without saying Alan.
Hey, Tom's joining us from the gardens of his palace in Versailles. Tom, are you in Versailles?
Yeah. But I brought all the crickets with me.
Yeah, they don't have any crickets in Versailles.
Those are European crickets.
I don't even box them up. They just follow me like on the pipe.
Yeah, really just a swarm of locusts.
It's also very awkward in conference calls at work. But
my beer just poured all over my lap. I'll be right back.
No.
Now the pressure's on me to bring up more entries.
Jono looked like for 1 second he was going to stand up with a soaking wet crotch. Like, really thought he was going to.
All right, so Joe, for page 333, nothing to greatly talk about here, but maybe we can talk about it for a minute. It's Ivan, one of Alana's warders.
Yeah,
I just noted it because he's pretty present early on in the first 4 or 5 books, and then he
I would say up to like the Two Rivers battle
falls off the map.
Does she have her warders with her? Oh no, that's the one that lives, right, Yvonne?
It says, he said he was also at the Dumais Wells and was with Alana and Catswain in Farm Matting.
In Farm Matting, and that's kind of the end of it. And
yeah,
Jen,
you might say anything about Last Battle.
If you haven't gone through the book, a lot of characters that you are not expecting just randomly the last sentence of their entry is like they died at the last battle in this.
Randomly. It'll just randomly say it.
I just finished. I'm rereading it, so I just finished Dumais Wells, and then I'm like, I haven't heard any mention of any other warder that Alana's had in like a really long time. Ever since she bonded Rand, like I guess he's there, but they never mention him or talk about him.
I think we have a lot of small side characters that are all over, like we see a lot in the first books, and as the cast is bigger and bigger and bigger, like some of them just kind of fade into the background.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
They become like not tertiary, but like seven tiers down.
You didn't know that guy was there the whole time? Of course he was.
And he wasn't quite good enough to be in the montage of death at the last battle that Rand was looking down on, where just like random side characters died like left and right, and you're like, what? That's how they died?
What entry are we on? Because I walked away for a second.
Ivan on 333, but I think we covered it. That was pretty much the whole thing.
I want to go back to 332 and discuss ice peppers.
I had that note.
There's something like a latent sexuality to ice peppers for the only reason that they were like done. Like if you remember, the Panarch is being forced to eat ice peppers at the same time that like she has to like do like body dances and songs and all that. So it's not like there's anything really sexual about them. Until I read fruit was long, white, and very hot. And then I started thinking
Joe, you can use that graphic now.
Yeah. And,
I mean, it wasn't that horrible. I kind of loved it.
it's like the weird like version of like the hot red rod, but as done from a salvia pepper standpoint. Yeah.
Did it ever explicitly say that she was forced to eat them, or just
obliquely
referred to that they were used to torture her, but not explain?
Oh, vaginal or rectal insertion is a good point.
You put the graphic up too soon.
Yeah.
Tom.
Oh no, we use it.
I know what I'm doing, Tom. I knew there was more coming.
That makes more
Denison,
sense.
how do you think Ivan feels about sharing Alana with the dragon?
That's a big compliment, Ivan.
They never really give us how his feelings on that, huh?
I mean, who cares about a man's feelings, right?
We have it so hard.
Oh no. What does he feel about that? I bet he doesn't care, because I feel like Alana did it for purpose and not because she
Well,
sounds like something Ivan would have told himself.
Yeah.
With the exception of Land,
it's not cheating.
It
was just platonic.
Most warders are just kind of like, well, she says to do it, so fuck it. Like they don't really get themselves like in a disagreeing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. On myself, a warder.
I guess before we get too far into the eyes, let's make it clear to everybody too. It's roughly 10 pages.
Yeah.
So some of these it's going to be like
we're dilly-dallying on random shit that doesn't matter. It's because there's not a lot in the eyes.
Didn't you find this interesting? And when everyone's like, no, I'll be like, no, but here's why it was interesting. And then
because we had to make
still no.
Because we're finding something to talk about.
Joe, quick question for you. What episode are we on?
Today's episode of tWoTcast is brought to you by the letter I.
What episode number?
Oh, 334.
All right, let's go to that page. That do be interesting.
Oh, you want to go right to Ilion, huh?
Yeah, I do want to. First, no mention of the accents whatsoever. Like the only country that can own, I agree with that. In the corner watching.
Beach has the best comments.
Yeah. It is the only country that has its own discernible accent. Like even with Shamshan that they mentioned being weird and whatever the fuck, they don't actually try to write it that way.
Yeah.
That do be interesting.
That's interesting. The audiobooks make the Shamshan accent very thick.
You know what else makes it thick?
No, Jono.
Blood flow into the blood vessel brought on by arousal, expands capillaries. And comes out of
that happens when you stick a ice pepper up your
That's science.
Yeah.
Science.
You find it with your penis and science.
Man.
So I didn't know the thing about arranged marriages. Or at least I don't remember that. Apparently, it's a pretty common thing in Alien, and you're lucky if the woman is even allowed to kind of the man never, but the woman is sometimes brought in to have at least some sort of hey, do you want to suck this guy or that guy? Too damn bad.
What?
I don't feel like that was in the book.
The sucking or the arranged marriages?
None of it. I thought it was interesting that they have all three branches of the United States government, and then they make it a clear point that the commoners have absolutely no say whatsoever on what goes on with those three. That was interesting.
Very precious.
Interesting commentary.
Well, I could do that or boner jokes, I guess.
Boner jokes. Commoners boner jokes, though.
Joe and Jono with the book, if you look at the second paragraph, it says the city was founded in roughly FY 1094 by Lord, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, who captured the city of Ilion. But who captured the city of Ilion in that year and quickly gained a following. How was the city founded when someone captured the city?
The nation was founded.
The nation was founded. The nation was founded on the eponymous city.
So he just did it after that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously,
I'll
Ilion.
allow it.
Maybe the city of Ilion existed before the nation?
Correct. That's exactly what it's saying.
No, okay. Yeah, there we go.
And then
There you go, Tom.
All right.
Easy.
Yep.
Figured that out so fast.
the only other part of Ilion that I loved was that Markle
That
and
Bell
Marcola-
Doman doobie from there?
Yeah, the wolf. Obviously.
How many aged grandmothers are on docks in Ilion? A lot?
Jim, do you have any
Just the
thoughts
one.
on how many grandmothers?
What?
Aged
How many-
grandmother.
How many
Do I have-
aged grandmothers are sitting on docks waiting for
Oh, on
ship
docks.
captains to return?
I guess
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
Oh wow!
What podcast is this? Not Talkaranrhiod. That's a tWoTcast right there.
She is immediately assumed the worst.
That's safe assumption.
Do you guys think that Bale Doman just talked like that, and then he was like, "All right, I guess everybody from Ilion's gonna talk like that too." It was just like a pirate at first, and then he was just like,
He's
"No,
like, I
I'm
really
with
wrote
it."
myself into a corner with this one.
And then, like, everybody on the continent talks normal except that one city. How did this
fucking
happen?
love that idea. The Docks of Ilion is actually the name of a nursing home. Luke Ice Jedi. Thank you.
It's nothing but sailors and aged grandmothers.
Here's a weird thought.
I just love the idea of Robert Jordan being like, this accent will make him interesting and different. And then later on, he's like, oh,
Fuck
make
me.
everyone talk like this.
How do I
What
do
if he-
future tense? That do be what I do.
By the time it gets he has like a chart on his wall how to phonetically
That
rearrange
will-
the sentences.
That will be,
Yeah.
do be, did be. The Ilioner Dictionary. Never mind. That's the title of the book.
It's a sex novel. Apparently, by the way, and I looked up tier by cheating and going up forward in the books or in the alphabet. Ilion
John,
doesn't.
that's against the loosely dictated rules that we never follow.
Well, Lucy,
How dare you?
Ilion says here doesn't have a navy, and if pirates strike, they have to like build a bunch of ships and some conscripts. And I was like, well, why the fuck would you not have a navy, considering you're on the ocean? Tyr also doesn't have a navy. I'm very confused why it is these nations that war with each other, like more than anyone else, haven't thought about. It'd be nice.
Maybe we attacked them by water. Maybe. Hear me out. You're fired.
Is there,
Get out of here.
would there be much point to having like a massive navy until
The
they
Shanjan?
invent the dragons or the cannons? Like,
Yeah.
what are you
I guess
really doing?
not.
Transport.
Unless you're Shan-Chan style and use the you like have a partnership with Aes Sedai or Chandler.
Greeks had a navy. The Romans had a navy.
A partnership.
Joe
Joe calls slavery a partnership.
Well, I meant the Shan-Chan
Very
aren't,
dis-
but
very
if you're from
disturbing.
Ilion, it would be a partnership.
I mean, Joe from Talkaranrhiod, that was not.
Yeah, it's a good thing we took
Really
over
nice
this show
show.
tonight. We didn't put that on our own podcast because that'd be
No, that would have been inappropriate.
yeah. Whew, close call.
Anything else about Ilion? I'm always.
Well, I
confused.
just wanted to really quick. Can we just before we talk more about Ilion? Can we mention 333? We skipped her
Wait,
over.
we're
but
leaving. We're leaving
just
an
real quick. Just
entry?
real quick. She's very important to me because her name's Isla, and she happens to be like Aram's mother.
She's his
So,
grandmother,
that's
right?
important.
Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. You're just bringing up Aram.
Oh yeah, that was the
Why
point.
am I bothering?
That's all I was doing.
Well, I want to talk about how that mustard hits his teeth and just
I
coats
just-
it.
I just realized that Jen probably has no idea that we call him Arancino Man.
Well, I
That's
just
true.
figured. Yeah,
We call him
no,
Arancino.
I didn't know
That's
about
right.
Aramcino Man, but yeah.
The only thing I have left for Ilion was that Mark Olin, that served under Tam, ends up being the leader of the companions and serves under Rand. Interesting, but
Yeah,
weirdly not hilarious.
yeah. It's, actually,
Interesting, but weirdly not funny.
it's one of those things where, like, there's only a 1,100 page final book at the end of a trilogy of final books, where you kind of wish that there had been more time to flesh out the final book to know like what that relationship could have looked like, especially when Tam re-enters the picture, and like, again, not looking like a giant, weird hug fest, like, hey, remember me from 20 years ago kind of thing. But like, those are existing relationships that you kind of want to see where the fuck it could have gone. But, fuck it.
I could have used 7 or 8 more books.
Okay.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Rough.
Haven't you already written one?
I have a rough outline.
My last
sure we put that in there.
on Ilian is it do be weird, and I do not understand why it is that
You do be confused.
the horn, like why the hunt for the horn was always declared there, like, and sure what, and also how often, right?
That does seem a little random.
Well, it mentions how often, kind of. It says how long it's been since the last time, and
well, that's not how often. If it's been like 200 years.
the only thing, my only takeaway from when they called the hunt, and I'd never paid attention to years. I don't even know if they're mentioned in the books, but it said the hunt was called in the year 998. I'm like, wait a minute, did the last battle happen in the year 1000?
I think
Is it like a bad Conan O'Brien bit.
Yeah.
Like, in the year 1000.
Yeah.
Is that what we're all leading up to, the year 1000?
That's actually why it existed like that. Like he wrote, like Robert Jordan wrote that one. That
It's
shows
interesting that you said
YK.
why. I was like, no, it's the last battle just YK.
That's right. Horrible.
And then everybody
Whichever
woke up the
YK.
next day. They had no idea what Rand did, and they were just like, "Man, everybody was freaked out about another."
Yeah. Seems like it's not a big deal. Everyone said the world was going to end. Everything seems fine to me. Good thing I didn't go to that big fight up north. A lot of those people died.
Still woke up.
Yeah, I'm fine. Hung out here in Tremalking.
Robert
Conversely, what
what
if we all thought Y2K was
You're
nothing?
talking to
What
Richard,
if what if we all thought Y2K was nothing? What if it wasn't? What if there was a last battle? We just sat at our houses. We're like, no big deal.
Somebody saved the world. We had no idea. Wait, that's probably what happened.
It has to be.
All right, it has to be logical. Oh man.
Next, I would like to go to page 336, and obviously, Jen, at any point, feel free to interrupt me because I will interrupt myself.
Okay.
So I could use all the help. Ilyana Theron Morel.
Where are you on? 336?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm disappointed.
Ilyana.
Or Ilyana.
Ilyana.
Oh, sorry. Ilyana.
Let's hear everybody's
I'm
business.
disappointed.
Billy's
No Winter Dragon reference, and no substance to this one. Like, I want more. I want to know who the fuck Ilyana Sunhair was.
Yeah, there's not a lot here.
Yeah.
Other than we just already in his madness caused by the taint on Sidene, Luce Theron killed her, their children, and every person who was related to him.
Not even
Did
about her.
every single person that was related to Luce Theron live in that one palace?
Well, I think it was like a city, wasn't it? Like more of a city.
It was more of a
Did he
power.
not
was
have
it
like
just a-
one cousin that hated him and like moved across the country?
No.
I thought he was
Did
just
you
like
get it?
traveling around and killing everybody, and then ended it in his house.
Yeah, did he kill everyone in that moment?
So he started on the outskirts and slowly worked his way in.
Yeah,
getting his
he
address
killed his
book
family
out.
last.
Going through the Christmas card list, like where did this guy move to?
Very
The
rational. and
Christmas
sane.
card list. What? Oh my god! I almost forgot cousin Tammuz.
Yeah.
Do you
Down
think
in
he maybe
Carrion.
sent out an email asking for address updates before he went on his murder spree? Just to make
Yes.
sure.
Just to
Yeah.
make sure he killed the wrong
Just to make sure
person.
they're all accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why later on, when Rand in book 4 does that giant weave to kill all the Trollocs, like he's like, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to get every single one of the Trollocs.
Of this specific thing.
It's like, and like, by the way, you could also do it for maybe
Tom
your own-
Ilyana was said by Max Power, not Billy Zane.
No,
We
I
wanted
know.
to-
That are irrelevant. I still want to hear everybody's Billy Zane impression.
Oh, you'd have to say Eyes Die.
I
what
really
do we
just
got
want you to.
next?
I want you to play the clip where he's like, "Oh,
I don't have that.
I have a good one for next, but I have to go get a drink. So you guys,
Oh, that's very important.
yeah, I'll be right
I've got one, Jono, that I think we didn't talk about for some reason, and I thought you might want to discuss. It's back on page 332, the very first page of this. It's a Drella Menford. A lanky, hard-eyed accepted with a long nose, she often wore a frown. She taught a novice class that Egwene disrupted by juggling balls. That's it.
When?
It's also Manford. Minford is like she is,
Yeah.
Idrell, a total slut. Just come on in. Is what
It's
her
balls of fire. I just stopped at balls.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. There's an art, Jen.
I would say, do you have a serious one, Jono? But I know you don't. So, we can move
and obviously, Jen, seriously, interrupt.
She's out of the book, Jono.
I know. Just go to like a different,
Throwing
topic.
in my 2 cents. Oh, you want me to
she's good. She's doing a good job.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm getting tired of listening to Joe.
Agreed.
I don't think you guys have said one thing that you prepped me for, though. Yes. For Alien. I think it's the only thing.
Alien. We talked about Alien.
Do be true.
I just gave you the big names real fast. These little ones aren't important. You don't need prep for these.
I want to go to page 337.
Okay.
It's a character or a place by the name of Incester.
Of course, we want to talk about that one.
It's actually Incaster.
I was like, what am I? Oh, Caster.
A place where there is an enclave afraid of progress. In the area of Farmatting during the Age of Legends. Enclave afraid of progress does fit the name of Incester, given certain predilections that happen. I think we'll just leave it at that.
I think Robert Jordan was just like, let me just change these 2 letters. Perfect.
Yeah.
No one will know. Yeah. Okay. All right, Jono. I like that one. That was funny.
Thank you. Yeah. I tried.
Took me a minute to find it because you said it weird. I mean, properly.
Yes,
properly.
that's funny. I feel like it's a weird thing, and it happens to Egwene. It pretty much happens to all of the main character's family, with the exception of Rand, really. That, so we've got Inloin Damodred, so Moraine's sister. A warm and loving mother. She's not very bright, but very stubborn.
Wait, hold on. Say that name again.
Inloin.
I read it as Inloin, and my note just says, "What an unfortunate name."
Well, we did just go to Joe. You missed it. Joe's response was for a woman whose name was Minford. So all these men can go through that wet passage.
Oh man.
But yeah, it is unfortunate. But it's just such a weird thing that one of the main characters, what are you known for? My sister's dumb, or
and stubborn.
Oh yeah, okay, 2 for 2. That's good combo. It's such a weird thing though.
She was a warm and loving mother first, then stupid and stubborn second. Jono. I mean,
is that what childbirth does to you?
they're good qualities.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Joe, how many children does your wife have?
2.
That's mean. He just called her stupid and stubborn times 2.
I mean, if it's true, it's okay to say stuff that's true and factual,
Okay.
I mean, it can hurt, but
I mean, bluntly honest is how I would describe myself.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I mean, Jen knows we have a podcast together.
You want me to do one?
Yes, I would love you to do too.
Let's go to Ingtar on 337.
Ah, Ingtar.
I thought the most interesting part of this, and I don't know if I knew this or not, was that when he and Rand meet the Fade in the crossing hallways and Rand runs away, Ingtar and the Fade team up and they go down to free Padden Fane.
He mentions at the end of book 2 when he's coming, but not really that was that Fade at that moment, because it's just kind of like I was told to go to Dog Gate.
It says he let a weird little man in through the Dog Gate, and I think we always assumed that was the guy that shot the arrow at the Maryland. I don't know if we ever knew that he pretended
It
to fight a
says it in
Fade,
the
and then it was like,
companion that he freed Fane?
yeah, it says
I didn't
he.
know
Well,
that.
yeah.
It says he met. Well, let me find the exact words, I suppose.
At a meeting of the Dark Friends, Ingtar received
There,
orders,
Joe's got
and when he encountered Rand and a mirror draw, he sent Rand away and went with the Fade to free Fane.
Oh, that's a lot.
After
Right.
the horn was a Valyr was stolen, Ingtar led the men south to find it.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
but that's-
I didn't realize that. I thought he let them in. I didn't realize he actually.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think.
No,
I
there's
don't
that
think that's
moment
in
where
the
they're
book.
fighting in the hallway.
yeah,
and he
I
told
always
Rand
thought
to
like
go.
Rand leaves and then he just like they both like nod at each other and like
Yeah.
just disperse.
Good
like,
day, sir.
Yeah.
what does that look like for someone like down the hall who like is not seeing you? Just kind of like, hey, good luck, see you later, man.
I
Let's
honestly
pretend
kinda-
to fight.
Yeah.
All right,
I
go
honestly-
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
honestly thought he let like one dark friend in through his side gate, and then
Yeah.
otherwise
You're right.
fought
Yeah.
the mirror draw and killed it, and not teamed up with it to go down
no.
and free Fane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe Ingtar's the one who wrote the crazy blood spatter.
Do you think so?
Might have been.
No, it's clear. But
If it was
so-
Ingtar, he would have had the pen and like done it very nicely
Sideshow Bob.
with blood. Yeah.
that's what Ingtar's hair looks like. I
Right.
think it's described that way.
No, that's what
Top notch.
that's what Aramcino man's hair looks like.
Yeah.
Aside from that.
So Jen, that's one of like the weird like why I fucking love doing this. And credit to Tom every once in a while for like bringing up
Every once in a while.
what should have been the most obvious thing for me to recommend, because I'm a douchebag who reads the glossary all the time. Like, there's so many weird nuggets of things that you didn't know were in the books, or like maybe you knew but weren't like literally spelled out. It's literally maybe not the right term, but that weren't spelled out for you. And like that's one of those that okay, I can see that, but then it's just written right here, and it's like therefore it must be true.
Yeah, some of the entries of people that you think you know their story, and you're like, I'm going to skip over this, and do not skip over it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff in there.
Dana brings up some good points. The timeline of that doesn't work with the book. The Fade had already freed Fane before the encounter with the Fade.
Well, tell it to
And
Harriet.
I kind of agree with that, because then Luke Guy's Jedi said, doesn't Rand immediately go to the dungeon from there? And I'm pretty sure that's true also.
Can a Fade
But
go into
maybe
a shadow and bring
he could
Ingtar
have been
with him?
delayed getting there, though. Yeah.
Also, I'm sure Ingtar knows the faster way to the dungeons than Rand. He's lived
Yeah,
there
that's
for
what I was like.
3
I was like,
weeks.
he could have gotten there
The secret
faster. Though. That's
passageway?
not that crazy.
Did it make
Rand
the
does
Zelda
immediately
quiz?
go to the dungeon from there, says Dana. Yeah, I
Everyone's
agree
arguing
with
with. All right, people are arguing with us as if this is our theory. It's
that.
written
We
in the
wrote
book.
it in the companion time. It's
By
our
the
job
editor
to
of
defend
the
ourselves. Let's just
I mean-
put a big sticky note on that one, and when Maria or Alan are back on for whatever letter they come on for,
I meant to email
it's
him.
M and S and R.
What's funny is
Um,
Alan, for some reason, either listens or watches this. I assume not live because I hope he's got better things to do at 9:00 on a Tuesday.
Yeah, he's got all those shows queued up on Netflix.
Yeah, he's lately been more on Amazon Prime. No, Apple TV. Sorry, my apologies. But
Still watching The Servants.
yeah, he's on season 1 again. But we'll ask him these because I should just email him, find out
The
next.
Fade and Fane had time to write a whole dark prophecy on the wall before Rand got there. That's true. He was very lost.
Also,
I mean,
Which way was it checked?
the thing is type 200 words a minute. Have you not seen
Rand is.
Yeah.
Look, he's 7 feet tall. He wears his sword all the way up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's young, like a baby deer, like trying to run through the hallways. I'm sure it
He's
took
like
a long
Bandy
time.
on
It was
ice.
very awkward.
His feet slip around in the blood, and he's like,
And then
"Whoops!" It's like hilarious pratfalls.
I'm average height, and I've been to Ireland, like walked down castle stairs. They're steep. It's not easy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Those are steep.
Think about it.
All right. I'll try to
Beach
remember to.
said when the Dark One told him to open the dog gate, Ingtar responded with, "I'll be your back door, man."
Jen said
I
no.
need a new
Take it
one
down.
that says Beach says horrible things.
Me?
We've said that for weeks.
Maybe
now.
me.
Oh man.
Oh, good. This is a good episode so far. Really enjoying it. Ingtar brought up some good points.
You want to do a couple quick hitters?
Sure.
I lost the text.
I'm just gonna do in-law master on page 338 and Arella on page 339, just for they very quick Millie Skane references and Els Grimwald references. That's the only reason I marked them down. Isn't Millie Skane the best name of it?
Millie Skane sounds like an STD. Like it just sounds like we got Millie Skane the other day. Like we all did. Like just kind of like, well, like she's cute, but kind of like a weirdly scaled vagina. Yeah, I guess it's not good.
Weirdly scaled.
It just seems like something like a totally fictional.
What the fuck?
It just seems
every once in a million years,
look.
Jono actually gets me surprised. Like it's a lot.
Look, here's the thing. I went to the Dark Friend Social. I wore a mask, but not a condom. And when I left, I had Millie Skane.
There's a reason why that fucking dagger was steaming in an acid way. Like, it wasn't good in book one. She had been dealing with it.
Is that just a weird metaphor for gonorrhea?
At best. Yeah. At worst, way worse.
Jordan's just like, I need a new character. How about if I make a personification of an STD?
Yes. All female characters are based on Harriet, by the way. True.
Jono, she's just on the show. Rand spent 45 minutes looking for the "You Are Here" star on the Caldara directory. Good job, Blue God Jedi.
And then when he found it, he was like, "Wait, no, wait."
Yeah, he's like, he had to orient himself still.
But what floor am I on? So I gotta get down to the basement. So I gotta go upstairs.
All right, if this door is over here, and then I'm here.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He finds himself back on the same map like 3 times. Like, son of a bitch! Star hasn't moved.
Some of this stuff I want, like, that was obviously in Jordan's notes, and so they put it, and I wonder if it would have held up under scrutiny. Like, yeah, exactly. If he would have been like, well, that doesn't make sense anymore, and he would have trashed it, but instead, like, just in his notes of,
because it's in his notes, it's in here.
Yeah, it's canon now, just like YK is.
Yeah, just like YK. I mean, YK is totally canon.
It's fucking incredible to a legitimate. We've already said this 1,000 times, so I'm going to do it again. It's incredible to put together a 40-book fucking series and have this amount of continuity that makes sense. That's not just like instantly just, well, that doesn't fucking like match up. So to have like, oh no, timeline wise, that maybe not, too fucking bad. Sorry, but at the end of the day, how dare he miss that? Or how dare they?
Have you guys noticed how many people in the comments are like, just talk about Ishmael? At which
Dana said it like 3 times. Ishmael has an interesting entry.
Hey,
does he?
Real quick, it's absolutely fascinating. We're planning to get to it, but I feel like that's the closer.
Oh, that's tWoTcast this week. Join us.
I guess we never got to Ishmael.
Well, all right. There's 2 possible closers.
Yeah,
but I don't know if Jono has the second possible one.
What did I tell you to look up?
Maybe I'll tee him up. See if he's got it.
Sendre.
Oh, yeah.
And then a person I forgot about. I said I forgot about. I forget her name now already.
Oh, Ispin?
A black Aja.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Jispin?
I
had a question for you. Actually, Jen, a question for you. What's your last name again?
Isgro.
So, real quick, my notes say that your work ID is probably Jizgro. Is that right?
No. I don't have a work ID, but it probably would be that.
Where's it going?
No, just in general. Just Jizgro is a funny thing to say.
Jizgro. Okay.
That was all you.
My work email is J O'Hara.
Yeah. I had to think. What's funny is like I had like a text to you guys like Jizgro, right? And then I remember being like, there was something I was going to say at the beginning of the episode, and I lost it until you said, Ispin, which made me think of Jizzpin, because why wouldn't it?
Billy Skane almost caught by Matt twice.
That tracks.
That's true. Ascendre or Ispin? What do you guys want to talk? Who do you want to talk about? You guys tell me.
I mean, we can do a fair amount of time on Ishmael.
I'm disappointed in the fact that. Yeah, I'm sorry. You go, Tom. I'm speaking over you.
Let's just do one. You know what? Let's go to 336.
Okay.
Just
And
real
then,
quick and talk about Imfarl.
Yeah.
I thought it
The
was
sixth largest city in Shanchan and the home of the Towers of Midnight.
I just realized when I read that entry that I never knew what the book title Towers of Midnight referred to in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, it's a Shanchan thing about where torture and all that type of shit goes on, if I remember.
And then
Came
why
up when
did the
Tuan thought
Shanchan
about
rank
omens and how they were the same no matter the location.
Yeah. Why do they rank the size of every city?
Well, seriously?
You're number 6.
We all know who's got the biggest dick on this podcast. I'm very disappointing, considering the amount of co-hosts we have.
It's probably, sadly, the bottom left corner.
Yeah. From the other direction. It's my cat.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. So you just didn't know what the Towers of Midnight were? That's why you wanted to talk about that?
No, I know they reference it, but I just never really thought about it before. And the whole
It's a
book
book.
is named after a throwaway reference to the 6th
How dare
largest
you.
city in Shanchan.
It is.
Is the biggest or has the biggest? I think he means dick.
I'm assuming.
339
Isom, you don't have to flip to it. It's just a bizarrely short entry. It's like 2 sentences. And then it says also see Luke and Slayer, and those are like 2 pages apiece.
Oh, so this one gets the short shaft.
And it does
Glenn's
reference
cousin, who was an infant, fled Malkir with his mother, blah, 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 as it was being overrun and was not seen again. In the Blight, the Dark One made him into a sort of hybrid with Luke Mantir.
I can't wait to get to Slayer. I actually have already read it, but the idea that
Oh, I jumped ahead.
I think that we
I
all
read
have
Luke and Slayer.
massive fascination with how the fuck did that even occur.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest issue with Isom is it's not all caps, because in book 4, when they're just yelling right before that last battle of Women's Field, they're just yelling Isom, like all the Trollocs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the creepiest fucking thing. Like, I don't know why that they're yelling. Like, what's really a character who barely even cares about them, considering that he's just an assassin. But it's just like fucking, I don't know the right term, but just like fraught with peril and excitement, which is what we call coitus.
All those Trollocs probably watched him grow up in that weird town in the Blight. They're just very similar to how all the maidens think of Rand as like a little.
I don't know why I love that so much. Holy shit, that should be a weird
It's
outcrop.
like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be I was just going to say that. It needs to be a television show. I want like a Calvin and Hobbes type cartoon about it, though, more than a sitcom. Just like Trollocs that are too big to fit in the frame, and then he's a little kid running around and doing shit. Murdering people. Isom.
Yeah.
And that
I can't wait till you're
said,
older. We can chant your name.
that dark prophecy said one lived and one died, but there's somehow
Both shall
one.
be. Yeah.
And then if you read the entries, it's pretty obvious which one died.
Yeah.
Because Isom only got a couple of lines.
Couple of letters or a couple of lines. Yeah.
It's a shame for him.
Yeah. So Tom, I'm gonna need you to get your fanfic typewriter out and start writing some.
I can do that.
We just came up with a comic strip idea, Tom. I don't know what we should start right now.
I think all I have left is the last 2. Jono, do you have more?
Let's see.
I've got a Shamiel and then the one that I'm just
I've got
assuming you had a
30
joke about. 30.
I've got three. I love it.
Okay.
2 are on page 340. Isindre.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So this is the dark friend that was with Kadir in the Waste.
I was hoping for a revelation in this, but it's pretty much a straight.
It's just a
recitation
straight
of her
narration of what
story.
happened to her. Sultry walk, and then and then her death though is just like having known her death, obviously, having read the book, it's still just fucked up to read. Like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to fuck this guy. I tried really hard.
I tried. I'm not trying anymore.
It's like, yeah, okay, you're standing here, bitch. Chokes her out and then pushes her and hides her so well that like the Aiel can't even find her.
That's
like,
what I want to talk about right there.
The
She
most
told
disturbing
Kadir she
part
would
is,
not
like,
try anymore, and that Rand was bedding Avienda. Kadir, realizing that Essendra had been broken, strangled her, butchered her body, and hid the remains. The maiden searched for her, mind you, but found nothing. That's Kadir can hide something from an Aiel in the waste.
Yeah,
that's
Was
pretty
she?
good.
Were they together though? Essendra?
I don't know.
Were they just
Yeah.
pretending to be
I
together?
think it was just
like,
I think it was just a weird dark friend.
yeah.
Like,
It's just,
they
No,
have
I
to be together. They both have the same mission, kind of thing.
I think there was a pretty strong implication that they slept together a few times before. I think.
Maybe as
Am I
like
remembering that
a
correctly?
hierarchy of dark friends,
Yeah,
like
like-
blackmail type thing. But I don't think they were like together.
well, they weren't like
I love-
they didn't like love each other or anything.
No.
Yeah, of course not.
I love the
They're
idea that
capable
he's
of
just like. I love the idea that he's just like, hey, fuck this guy, and if you can't fuck this guy, but while you're fucking that guy, keep trying to fuck that guy,
Yeah.
and if you can't fuck guy number one, even though you're still fucking guy number two, I'm gonna kill you. It's like really fucking messed up.
you're going to need to have a lot of like lubrication going on because none of these are really consensual, but it's your job.
Is Kadir
Yeah.
the darkest character that's ever been in the
He's
books?
pretty dark. Yeah.
Well, see,
Every
that's
time
like- yeah,
he murders somebody he's pimping out, and he's just like when I killed my sister.
Yeah.
Kadir made some sausage, set up his stand the next day. No more
Oh
body.
my god.
Well, I mean, there's only
Yeah,
one way to
let me
pay
eat
that
some of this
hat in
before
the
we go
waist.
out for the day looking for her.
did he have pigs? Like, was he part of it? Was that like, yeah? This like, Kadir, like one of the things I loved about Kadir, and I can't wait to get to Kay for Kadir. We'll have him co-host. Is like how
Hadnan. Kadir was an H.
damn
We
it!
already talked
Maybe he
about him.
threw her
Yeah.
remains through like the twisted doorway.
I love
You guys
that.
should I said David Hanlon was worse, and we all agree on that.
David Hanlon was better, right? Let's
Better,
start from
worse but
terminology.
better.
Yeah.
And by that
I'm
we
not-
mean
I'm not
Doyle and
positive
Millar. The
on
I like to
that.
call him.
But so one of the things
guy
about
was
Kadir that I
really
love. Oh,
messed
sorry,
up.
Tom, you go first.
Kadir also like died as gross as he lived.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of the
I
worst
love his
deaths.
death so much.
Yeah,
That's what we talked about last week. I'm like, I can't wait to see that. I want it to be in the show so bad. Just an inflated balloon man.
That could go on all three of our fucking tombstones. Just died as gross as he lived.
Just
Well, question: if this show gets popular enough, could that possibly be a balloon at the Macy's Day Parade?
here comes a classic death scene from Hadnan Kadir coming
From
down.
the Amazon Prime show.
Who is Avienda?
This weird dark friend
Who
pimp
is
inside out.
Yeah. But like,
Instead of ropes, they just have like red streamers holding him.
Oh my god!
oh yeah, the sausage links just holding them down.
That's fantastic.
Next top, I was gonna say more about Kadir, but I'm done.
We've done it.
Oh man.
We're not even on the K's. I can't wait. We're gonna revisit that.
Joe had a valid point. It was in the H's, last week.
Oh yeah, we already did it.
Drunk
All right,
dick.
so time being, I thought let's do a Ishmael.
Okay. Sure.
Joe, have you read through the entry for him?
I have not.
It's fascinating. It's all about him coming in and out of the board. Like
We knew that he
it's
went.
really weird.
I was gonna ask if it says like how that is possible.
It
How
doesn't
he was able
say.
to like come in and like how he even got trapped in the first place when he was not
It's-
in there
so
after
it
everybody
starts
else
off.
was trapped.
It starts off saying he wasn't, and he believed he wasn't. Then all of a sudden he got sucked in, and then later somehow he was out, and he started to affect the world, and then suddenly he realized he was being sucked back in again. And it happens like 3 times, and then all of a sudden he's out again. It's very weird. Like not
it says
anything.
He believed that he escaped.
Yeah, but he kept getting sucked in and out of the.
Yeah, so I'm not saying he
very
wasn't
strange.
there. Like, so there's a weird thing going on that I don't have any sort of context to pretend like I know what the fuck. But we know that Agenor and Belthamol at the beginning were clearly on the outside, like they were far enough away from the seal, but at the same time they were sealed in, so that
like
they
old
ate.
and crappy.
Yeah. And they looked amazing, and good old rapey when they came out. And great characters. But somehow, like Ishmael was not, but was, and there's no context whatsoever. 30 mil per Allen. God,
maybe it's him being out, like resets it somehow.
My thought was maybe he was like in like Talkaranrhiod at the time or something like that. That would have had like.
It says sometime after Luthern's death, he discovered that he had not escaped at all. He began to fade, to grow tenuous until he was drawn into the trap of the seals. Roughly 1,000 years later, though, the process reversed itself. He began to find himself back in the world of men, first at intervals in a wispy form, then more solidly, until finally he seemed to be again whole and in the ordinary world. Huh.
What if he's just so closely related to the Dark One that only during the Dark One's like strongest kind of like waxing or a power is he following suit?
It's weird because in and out. He's just like, he got out for a minute, and he's like, I'm going to affect the world and make Arthur Hawkwing hate Aes Sedai. And then as he feels himself being drawn back in, he's like, I'm starting a second trial course before I go, bitches. And then he disappears again, and then he comes back, and then he's gone. Like, it's very strange. I assumed from the books that he was out the whole time.
No.
Oh, no, I always knew he went back in and out.
Back. But do you think that, like, Robert Jordan wrote the prologue with him having to be out and talking to Luthern?
Yeah.
He went back and was like, all right, how am I going to get this guy captured with the rest of
I think Jono's point is interesting in that, like, why didn't he get affected the way, like, Agenor and Balthamol did, though? Like, that part doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Do you think we're trying to explain a note that Robert Jordan wrote when he wrote down what Ishmael was like in the first book, and he never revisited those notes, and then they're publishing the notes? Or do you think we should take this as like
it's gospel by definition?
Well, I mean,
honestly, well, I'm sorry, you finish.
Well, a lot of times we'll read a note that Robert Jordan wrote from the first book, and then we have to bend it to make it fit the 14 books, So I wonder if this is one of those, or if this is.
I don't think so, for the simple fact that this is a huge note, and this is honestly this isn't book 1, book 2, book 3. This is a multi-book thing that makes a lot of answers happen because of like what it is. Yeah, and I could be wrong, and I can't wait to find out. Like, oh, you dumbass! Yeah, it was just that we didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Like, oh, well, sorry, but like, it happens. But I think
Beach brought up a good point. Maybe that's why he went so hard in the first 3 books, because he figured he'd only be out for a short time to work before he got pulled back in. I mean, that's a solid thing. He's like,
Ishmael coming in hot. This is my chance.
That's perfect. There's a lot of comments like he's out every 1,000 years. Behind. Oh, Joe said there's a theory that he was behind the fall of Eredhol. That's more than a theory, isn't it?
I think it. Does it say that explicitly?
No, Eredhol was from what's his name?
That's just
I thought there is a mention of Eredhol in this chapter, but it's not him. It's
Entry,
Iron Hand.
Well, I think one of the things that is what's interesting is that there is a common expectation that each age or each era, if you will, is 1,000 years, and that's not actually true. If you look at how long the after breaking and the FY calendars are, they're not 1,000 years. So it's not like it's 1,000 years on the fucking dot. They're like 1,200.
Except for this one for a YK.
What? Well, I didn't actually hear
this one. Except for this one, we landed on YK.
YK. So there's a lot more there has to be a little more granularity than just like every 1,000 years, fuck it all off, because it's really more like 3,500 since the breaking of this is happening. But I guess one of the things that would matter is kind of like, it's interesting that he thinks what his it's listed here that one of the most important things he ever did was creating the Black Ijazz, as opposed to the Trolloc Wars. And I would almost disagree, because the Trolloc Wars apparently had so much knowledge that was lost.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
it doesn't say he created the Black Ijazz. He
founded the Black Ijazz.
No,
Yeah.
they already existed. He organized them.
Well, they were not
founded the Black Ijazz in this period. There had been sisters who were Dark Friends before, but he was responsible for organizing them. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense that there are sisters that were Dark Friends.
Yeah, women are evil, right, Jen?
Yep.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Stupid, stubborn, and evil.
That's podcast for this week. Quick.
Also, if your mothers.
Do we have more on Ishmael besides just like he's probably one of my favorite characters to read, whether he's Ishmael or before that when he's still...
I mean, it's fascinating when they talk about how he was a philosopher and how in a roundabout way Rand beat the Dark One with philosophy, and Herod Phil played such a big part in that, and men did, and like he didn't fight the Dark One with a sword. Like, they mentally battled over what they thought the world should be, basically.
Yeah, if I remember correctly,
that's funny. Yeah. And Moradin fought him with a sword.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's why but that's why that character is like his foil, is because he disagrees with the way that they think the world should be. It's interesting too that him coming out right, and it says in his entry that he's the one that announced to the world what they were actually fighting. Like, things went bad and things went evil, and nobody knew what was going on, and he basically came out to in a conference where they're all discussing like, how do we fight famine and war and all this shit. And he's like, you can't. The Dark One's free. just letting you know. Nobody knew before. Now you do. Oh, well, that got real dark. All right, let's go to page 133.
I just...
Emmer Halley says, formerly the Caddy Me Naja, until he organized them. I feel like Dark Friends, Aes Sedai would be more than just mean.
The entry that I was expecting Jono to have her brought up many times before now is on page 333. It's the Ijazz Mountains.
The what? 333?
I thought he would have so many jokes just over the name.
Ijazz? Oh, man, Ijazz on mountains all the
time. That's all.
Rashid and Shanchan, famous for its high quality calf. That's it.
Yeah, good old.
all the best coffee has Ijazz on it.
Yeah, I figured Jono would have a joke about putting cream in your coffee or something.
Hey, gorgeous
Jono, you're falling short.
I want you to know that I'm going to call your breasts the Ijazz Mountains. She just said it's not going to work out. So anyway, else isn't going to work out.
No, it's not going to work out. You're married. She doesn't have
yeah, got to. Yeah. Anyway, the Ijazz Mountains.
John, if she disagrees with you, just file a lawsuit against her. We'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court. We will win.
Is that why the calf is from there is so good? Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, makes sense. Delicious.
Dana. I don't have a Dana says horrible things.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of very pungent soil.
I don't know if you noticed the most recent comment, Tremalking Blue is the best calf. I don't even know what to think about that. What does that mean?
It means
everyone knows that, Tom. This is obvious.
How does that
so have you been to the
Tremalking Blue, by the way, is the balls that a Gween juggled to distract that one accepted.
I want to discuss something that I'm not sure you guys are aware of.
Okay.
Page 342. So I love this series. We all know that. I'm not sure Robert Jordan knows what islands are.
Go on.
According to this, islands are just large spaces like flat-top hills in the waves, connected with ramps and bridges. That's not what an island is. That sounds a lot like a made-up idea. An island is kind of a bunch of land surrounded by water.
But why would they put that in the Wheel of Time companion, Jono?
Well, there's islands all around.
Oh.
Can I be completely honest with you?
Wait, it would have been great if that was the definition, but it said like, see also this island, this island, this island, this island.
Yeah, so
I read that
Islands
entry.
are stone platforms in the waves. Also see Tremalking.
I read that entry and I got like 6-7 words in, and like this is happening like rapid fire in my brain. I'm like, why are they describing an island to me? And then it got to in the waves, and I'm like, oh, okay.
it does make sense. You would have thought it would have been capitalized, maybe, or like,
It's like
way
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember reading about dirt in the D's, but
Well, we'll talk about dirt in the D later. The sodomy
I say
reference.
horrible things as well, do I?
yeah, we got it.
I do say horrible things. Wadaholic Aussie is pointing out the obvious thing is that we all say horrible things. We just like to blame it all on Jono.
No, that's not true. Everything I've said has been 1,000% appropriate.
It's an island to Aiel. Notice their rivers don't have water either.
I guess it's true.
DK Moon. Nailed it. What else you got, boys? Are we at the end of Eyes?
Oh yeah, I put the book down. It's only 10 pages long. No, I'm done. I would save that all for Ijazz Mountains.
I wish you had.
What?
I wish you had held on to that one until because now no one can put islands. Islands isn't funny. Islands is funny.
Yeah, we can't do Ijazz Mountains and then do islands after that.
Well, you should have just ended it there.
That's not my fault.
Yeah, that's true. Joe's in control. Jen, do you regret coming on this?
I do not.
You know who does?
Okay.
I mean, Tom, she's on her own podcast.
Yeah, but do you regret inviting Jono to be on our podcast this week? It turned into a mess instead of like a really coherent thing.
That's okay.
Ijazz Islands onto Tom.
We are going to do a Patreon right after this, Jen, where we talk about the TV show if you'd like to be on it with us.
Yeah, we actually
That's tWoTcast for this week. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and in theory, we'll get better at responding to them. I keep saying that, and it keeps sort of being true.
That's
and one day will be true. If you have any, all right, you can listen to the audio version of this show wherever you get your podcasts. tWoTcast theme songs brought to you by the one and only Taffy Bennington, and also our outro by Andrew Bart of Time. Links to their stuff is below, of course. Thank you, Jen, for Talkaranrhiod.
Thank you so much for having
for being
me.
on your own podcast.
This was fun. Thank you.
Was it? I hope so.
It was. It was.
Links to Talkaranrhiod, of course. I mean, you're watching that show right now, but I mean, if you wanted to find,
us.
that podcast,
Yeah.
if you wanted to find us,
the link is in your browser. You're
the
watching
links below. Links to Talkaranrhiod are below, of course. Join us next episode for more Wheel of Time covering the companion again.
Oh,
the letter J.
What'll be next week, Joe?
The letter J. And who knows who will be here? I think we've got some people. We got some people lined up.
Jesus.
I want to come back.
One of them
Jesus
is
going to
Joe.
be on.
And one of them is Jono.
Whoa. Outro is stopped. Jen, what would you ask Jesus?
Oh, I don't know. They put me on the spot. I just want to be. I would like to just be here to listen to
You just
Jesus
like to
talk
watch.
about the Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this?
There's so many questions. You're like, hey, Jesus, what do you think about the Wheel of Time?
A lot of people call
Tell me
Rand
your-
at the end Jesus Rand, like when he becomes like all nice
Yeah.
and starts doing things. And when I read the Bible, I call it Rand Jesus.
I want to know what Jesus thinks about Janduin.
What if really next week, what if we have the four of us plus Jesus on the show? And the first question from Jen is, Jesus, what do you think about the Wheel of Time? And he's just like, that's your question?
You got one question. That's it.
You get one question apiece. What do you think about the Wheel of Time? Really? Okay.
That's your question.
Joe's about to spend about
I
half an
haven't
hour
read it.
dragging
I've been
content.
busy.
I'm Joe. Say
Sound-
good night, Jono.
Good night, Jono.
And Tom.
Study your math.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast code.